Hey there, everyone. So as promised, I wanted to do a training video on really the package feature inside PT Distinction. And this came about from a question that was asked, which was, how do I actually sell my services on, say, a website using PT Distinction? And I want to go and dig into that today. Now, of course, there are smaller videos around how to go and do this, how you can use these packages, how you can create them, and how you can put them onto your website. We also cover some of this in the PT Distinction masterclasses as well. But what I want to do here is do something in true PTD Ninja style, which is really show you what these packages, when you use all these different features inside PT Distinction, what it's actually capable of. So what I want to do today is create a very, very simple funnel system, which is going to be a lead magnet. So we're going to be able to offer something for free on your website that you can bring people in. In this example, we're going to do a 5-day mini series as a way of helping build up and nurture a lead and then convert them into a paying client. Then what we're going to do is have an email sequence that goes out to them. And this email sequence can go out to whether they're an online client or an offline client. And that's going to then nurture them through this lead magnet, through this email sequence. And then it's going to move them into another package that's going to be on the sales page on your website. And this is going to be your flagship offer. So it's going to be your main program. And in this example, we're going to go and set up a 12-week program. Now, with this 12-week program, we're going to set up in a way that you can adapt and adjust it really, really easily for your clients. But more importantly, we're going to set up in a way that will stop any of those upsell emails from that lead magnet from going out to the client. We're going to set up in a way that actually organizes your leads and clients in PT Distinction, so you can very easily see who is a lead and who is a paying client of this front end offer. And the other thing we're going to do in here as well is set up in a way that means that we can also move them through your flagship program, in this example, your front end offer, and move them into an ongoing subscription membership. And we want to do that so that they don't get duplicates. What we don't want them to get two lots of forms, two lots of welcomings, have to reset all their tracking details and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to do it that way. Now, in order to do that, we need to not only set up packages, we also need to set up groups. Now, I want to focus this particular training around the packages themselves. So I'm going to go on the assumption that you have an understanding of how groups work. In a nutshell, it basically is a way of organizing content, organizing people, organizing resources, organizing emails and messages. There's lots of different things groups can be actually be used for. And you're going to see some of those different things in today's training, but I'm not going to go into too much detail about them. If you want to do a bigger training on groups and all the different things you can do with groups, just literally let me know in the comments, just type groups and I'll get a training put together for that as well. So you can see all the different things that you can do with this amazing software and the groups feature, which I think is one of the best features in PT Distinction by far. When you get to understand that, it's amazing. You can pretty much do anything with it. Okay, so we're going to look at some of the groups, what we're going to use, and then we're going to go and set these packages up. And we're going to go connect them to a website and also have Stripe take payment for them as well. And I think what we'll also do here is just to show you the different things you can do. We'll also do abandoned cart sequences so that if people don't make payment, it follows and brings them back to it all automatically. We'll also do a free trial as well for the subscription membership so people can try things out and then move into a subscription. So without further ado, let's dig into it. So put my head down here out the way. So here we are inside PT Distinction. Before we get into the packages, which is what we're going to use to deliver our services to our clients, allow them to sign up and pay and so on, let's look at the different groups we're going to use. So at the moment, what I've done is I've got an account inside here. There's not much of it apart from some groups. There's no packages set up. And what I've actually done is I've pulled a load of groups from the PTD Ninja white label. So we have a white label library over at PTD Ninja. So anyone that joins the course in our academy, or of course, if you're on the Done For You service, we'll set all this stuff up for you as well. You get access to all this white label content that's in here, and then we help you adapt it and adjust it to suit the needs of your business. If anyone's heard me before, I always say I think the concept of white label content on its own is pointless. You need to be specific to the audience that you work with. So even though you'll be looking at stuff like this and think, oh, actually, that's a cool idea, it is. And the basic principles of what I'm talking about here work, but make sure you adapt them to suit your needs. And if you need help with that, then get in touch with me. We do this kind of stuff at PT Ninja all the time. So inside here, we're going to use an abandoned cart group. So the abandoned cart group is designed for anyone that does sign up or tries to sign up and then the payment fails or it doesn't go through. It can be automatically added to that group. We can automatically add them as an offline client, so they won't count towards your quota inside PT Distinction, and it will send an email sequence out to them to bring them back to your sales page when you sign up again, all automated. It also gives you an idea, kind of like a CRM, allows you to create a list of people that you know have really been interested in signing up, but for whatever reason, they didn't at the last second. And that's useful information that you can then go and retarget. And I'm going to show you how to go and do that as well. So in here, we then have our lead magnet group. So our lead magnet group, just to quickly show you in here, is going to have some content in for us. And this content that's in this lead magnet group is basically going to drip feed out to them over time. And you can see that on here. We actually have it on the schedule. We're doing everything by days after joining in this group. For this kind of setup, days after joining is really, really important. We want to make this evergreen so people can sign up all the time. You can see we have some emails going out. We have documents going out. And then here we have some videos and stuff that are put in for those documents and give us some tasks and things to go and do. Again, all this kind of stuff here we can do as part of our Done For You service if you ever wanted help doing this type of thing and helping you build this out. And of course, then we have emails that go out with this as well to follow up with them and to get to go and purchase your program. So we have that in our lead magnet. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do our flagship program. Now, over in the academy, over at PTD Ninja, we teach something called the super system, which is basic funnel. It's a lead magnet, flagship program membership, and it uses the challenge that helps convert leads who haven't yet made that decision to go and sign up. You run these challenges multiple times throughout the year. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, but for anyone wondering why we have these challenge groups in here at the moment, that's what that's for. But we're not going to talk about that today. I don't think we need to go into that much detail at the moment. If you want me to, I can do that in another training. Again, I'll do that as part of the group's training if people are interested in that. So we're going to come straight down here and we're going to have our welcome group. So this is going to onboard our clients. This has things like our forms, our onboarding emails and questionnaires and things like that. Very much like the onboarding group that's already pre-built into PTD Distinction, one that we made quite a few years ago at PTD Ninja. We have that already pre-built in PTD Distinction for you to go and use, along with some training on how that all works and why we do it that way. We then have a separate group for results tracking. This is really important for this type of setup because you want to make sure, if I open this up, that your results tracking is consistent. So even though this is a 12-month program, the 12-week program at the front end, the results tracking is going to be 12 months long. So in here, we can see on the schedule, if we go to days after joining, everything is on here. We have documents explaining how everything works for the client, shows them where to go and go, what to do, what to go and track, all that kind of stuff. And then we have reminders on here as well for them, just drip feeding out step by step every couple of weeks. So results tracking, and then we have progress photos and so on. So everything's just drip feeding out to them, making it nice and simple and easy. Okay, so let's just head back into our groups. Now that results tracking, as I said, is going to go on for 12 months because we want that to be consistent. So if they move from our flagship program into our membership program, we want to maintain that results tracking group. So it's always going to be the same. So they're not going to lose any previous data. They're not going to get any duplicates or anything like that. But we then have our coaching content group down here. So this have all our coaching content in. I'll just give you a quick example of this one, just so you can kind of see what we're doing, and then we'll dig into building these up. So in here, we have lots of coaching content. You can see it's all drip feeding out to the client day after day. Again, all this stuff is going to be on the schedule for them as well, with different tasks for them to do and things like that. This is all around nutrition, mindset coaching, activity, all that kind of thing is done in here. Again, with like an upsell email at the end, and we do some other upsell processes as well from this into the next one. A lot of how this is structured, you might be thinking, why is there only one message at the end down here? That's because this particular structure of a 12-week program is designed in a very specific way. The way we kind of teach this over at PTD Ninja is if you're going to do this front-end offer approach, this super system approach, that you want to make an offer for your back-end offer, your subscription, around 70 to 80% of the way through the program, if not a little bit earlier, depending on the niche market that you're working with. And the reason we do that is because you've got momentum. And all this kind of front-end offer, all this flagship program is, this 12-week program is, it's kind of like dating. It's like you decided to be exclusively date somebody that you're interested in, and you're getting to know each other. And hopefully during that phase, that they'll say, right, I want to truly commit to you now. And that's when they'll come into your long-term membership and at the end. That's what we're trying to do here. So even though there's only that one email about what next at the end, there's a structure inside this program that's designed to help upsell people and move them on to the next level. And one of the things we teach over in our course at PTD Ninja is something called the Magic 4. And these are 4 strategic points throughout the program that we do certain things to help ensure that the person, the client, is then going to continue working with you for the long term, which obviously will bring you more revenue in. So that's kind of why it's structured in the way it's structured here. And then we have separate groups for our workout programs as well. So our workout programs are kept separate from that. That is just to give you some flexibility. So even though you're selling packages as such, the beauty about PTD Distinction using the group features is that we can actually have individual workout groups that you've got here, for example, and we can change and adapt stuff. So even when a client signs up, we can then adapt them and adjust their programs within literally a minute or two based on their needs. And that's because we're using this group structure and this package structure. So we keep our coaching content in one group, keep our workouts in another group so we can change things around. And that means we can very quickly, as I kind of mentioned, change from, say, if it's a nutrition program, we can move it into habit-based coaching program. We can make it vegetarian or vegan. We can make for example, the workout programs. We can have home workouts, gym workouts, beginner workouts, whatever you want to. Have it very quickly adapted just by swapping out groups. But we can use these packages that we're going to look at in a minute to get them started, and then we can tweak and edit because we have an onboarding process. Again, that welcome group we talked about up here. This process is designed in a very specific way to allow you to gather information first and slowly build them into the program so you can adapt stuff quickly without thinking, oh, just sat around waiting for something to be done. Like everything is designed in a very particular way. So the next group we're going to include in here as well is this one down here, which is our weekly review. So again, even though we've got results tracking and stuff in there, one of the things we want to ensure that we do is have reviews with our clients and have subjective reviews. So this means we don't just look at the data inside the program. We look at how they feel the program's actually going. Because as you know, when you work in person with somebody, it's really quite easy to see if somebody's struggling. Like on paper, the results might look great, but if they're struggling to keep up with it, as in they're still keeping up with it, but they're struggling to keep up with it, they're not going to do that consistently for a long period of time. So the weekly review process obviously helps keep people on track. It helps improve adherence and they get better results. But that process alone has a big part in how long people are going to stay with you as well and helps with retention. So these are the groups we're going to set up in there. And then the final thing we're going to do is a membership. So with our membership, we're going to have I was going to do in this example, a 12-month nutrition-based habit coaching program. So it's the easiest way to do it. And we're going to have some automated workouts where the client can select the workouts they want to go and complete. Again, just as an example. You'll also notice here we have another group called Membership Onboarding Group. This normally goes to existing clients. Now you can build your memberships in different ways. In this example, we're going to go on the assumption that you don't offer that on the front end. You only offer your flagship program on the front end. You can, of course, set this up in a way so you can offer both on the front end if you want to. But for this example, we'll just do it this way. So we have a separate onboarding group that sends a quick email out, say, hey, welcome back. Just log into your app and away you go. So that's the group structure we're going to go and use. Let's go and dig into setting this up. So to set this up, we're going to go over into our Burger Bing in the top corner, and we're going to go into our packages. Now, there's obviously a test account for me, so we don't have our Stripe set up. And one of the first things you want to do here is go and connect your Stripe to PT Distinction. In order to go and do that, head over to the Stripe setup here and just click this button and follow the on-screen instructions and make sure everything's connected. Once that's done, you don't have to do anything else in Stripe. PT Distinction will speak to Stripe, it will sort out payments, do everything for you. So everything you do in terms of payment-wise, you control from your Premier packages here. You have to do nothing in Stripe once you complete this setup. You'll also find as well that any sales are recorded in here as well, whether that's no payment, whether that's Stripe or whatever it is. You'll find a record of all the payments and people signing up in here with the packages. And up here we have our packages. So what we're going to do now is go and set up some of these different packages. And like I mentioned, we're going to do 3 main ones. We're going to do a lead magnet. It's a free one. We're going to do a paid 12-week flagship program. And we're going to do a paid 12-month subscription-based program. And we're going to include a free trial on that as well. So let's start off with the first one, which is going to be our lead magnet. So we're going to go and add our package by clicking the Add Package button. I'm just going to follow the on-screen instructions. We're going to give this a name. I'm just going to call this 1.0 so it's easy to see the order. Let's call this lead magnet in here. Click Next. And at this point now, we can start adding in the groups. That's why I say it's important to understand the groups and how they actually work. But hopefully, I'm just giving you a little bit of an idea of the kind of groups we're going to be using. So we're going to go and put in a lead magnet group. I'm going to drop this one here. That's that one I demonstrated earlier. And we're going to make sure copy content to client is actually on. When it comes to groups, there's obviously ways you can organize groups. Like I mentioned, there's lots of different ways of using groups. We're just going to keep this nice and simple. We're going to use it here mainly to organize clients and to deliver content to them. And I'm going to have that start as now. So that's one group, all the content being delivered to them in this one particular group. And that's all we need to add in for this one to add in groups. We're going to hit Next. Next up, we're going to have remove groups. Now, I'm going to dig into what remove groups means in the next one in more detail. For now, though, we'll just leave this one blank. And then we're going to choose our payment types. At the moment, we're going to switch this to no payment. So it's completely free. It's a lead. We're going to hit Next, and we're going to fill in the details. Do you want phone numbers? Do you want to choose their own time zone? I'd always recommend you allow the client to choose that. We then have preset gender. A lot of people ask questions around this all the time. The reason it's there is for body fat percentage calculations. None of this is visible to the clients. It doesn't really matter which one you pick. If you click no preset, they'll have to choose male or female. If you don't want to pick, just pick one. It doesn't really matter which one. It just means it won't show up. The client will have no reference to it anyway. We then have something called incomplete signups. Now for this one here, because we're not taking payments, it doesn't matter. So we're going to leave that toggled off. And then down here, we have duration. So this allows us to control how long someone has access to this particular program. So here we're going to do a 5-day mini series. The way I like to run 5-day series is to have a bit of accountability in there. So I like to kick people out if they don't complete things in a certain amount of time. So I'm actually going to make this inactive. I'm going to set this just for 1 week. So it's nice and clear for them. They have to get it all completed in that time. Ignore this down here. We'll talk about that when it comes to our subscription payment. And at this point, you can decide whether you want to have two-way messaging or one-way messaging switched on. I'm going to just have one way for this one. And I'm actually going to switch off the login details because we're using groups. We already have our own custom login emails already set up that sends all the login information through to the client. So we can go and switch that off. Now I'm going to go and hit save. And that's it. Once you're on here, you've got these bits of code. You can see the summary down here, what's going on, and you have these two things here. The first one up here is the link. So if you wanted to, you could copy this link. And when you copy this link, it will allow the client to go and sign up using that particular link. And it's just a basic form. Now, I mentioned, and I'll just quickly copy this link and show you. We can go into Incognito tab just to demonstrate this. You can see here, it has just this simple form for them to go and fill in. And it's got your branding and colors on. The colors down here to control these colors, you'll do this when you do the website integration in the settings, when you're setting up your PT Distinction account. Now, if I close this one off and head back over here, we have this one down here next, which is a little bit of code. Might look scary, but it is really quite simple. If you want to integrate this to your website, maybe it's on a landing page or a sales page, you can do that by putting in this code into it. All you do is simply copy that code and then head over to where your website is going to be. In this case, we have a landing page set up here. We have a landing page with all the sales copy and everything else on. And then what we can do is we can integrate that into that landing page. So I'm just going to go and open this up so we can have a look at one. And then down here, you can see we have all this information on whatever information you want to put on that page. I'm just only a quick demo one here. And then we can add in something on here that allows us to, say another row, we're going to add an element in. And we're looking for something that says like code or HTML or something along those lines. It will normally have this kind of logo on it. You click on that, and then what we can do is we can put in that code in here and then click save. Now, here's the beauty about this. Once that's done and you publish that page, someone can go to that page now, see how amazing this offer is for them, and they can fill in that form that you saw earlier, but it's embedded onto your website. So it doesn't look like PT Distinction exists. It's literally just, that's it, dead clear, just you, sign up, and away you go. And it keeps the whole process nice and automated. And that's how you connect the pre-made packages to, say, in this case, a landing page for your lead magnet. So we're going to head back over here. Now, when somebody fills in this form, they're also going to get directed somewhere. The place to get directed through is normally to say, go and download your app. And there's also a little button that says you can go and log in. Now, that login page goes to wherever you set your website integration. Again, if you're not sure how to do any of this stuff, there's training already in the help section, or come along to one of the masterclasses, and we can demonstrate exactly how to go and do and set those things up. So that's how you integrate that onto there and get that all set up. That's the lead magnet done. Next thing we want to do is we're going to go and add in our flagship program, just like so. So I'm going to call this one flagship. I'm going to call this 2.0. I'm going to go and hit next. So this time we're going to have a number of different groups. The first group we're going to put in is our welcome group, the flagship. I'm going to have that start straight away. Next one down here, I'm going to go and add in our results tracking group. So I want that to start straight away. Remember, this one's a much longer results tracking group because we can use it over multiple programs. Over here, then we're going to go and drop in and do a scroll down here. We're going to find our coaching content group. I actually want that to start straight away as well. Now, this time I'm going to add in some workouts. I don't actually want the workouts to start until the first Monday after they sign up. So what I'm going to do now is, using this pre-made package, is click onto my automated workouts, hit the drop-down menu, click on day, and choose Monday. So that just means now they're going to start on that particular Monday. Now, if you're doing things in cohorts, you could actually do a similar thing here, but you could pick a date as well if you don't want to use a day. And then finally, we're going to go and do our check-ins. There we go. I'm going to drop this on here, click on day, and I'm going to put this on a Saturday. So I want this to start on the first Saturday after they sign up, so everything falls on the same day for the check-ins and allows me to patch stuff. Okay, so that's that done. We're going to hit next. This time we're going to use remove groups. So we're going to put two different groups in here. The first one is going to be our lead magnet group. Now, the reason we want to do this is for twofold. First of all, we're going to keep this box ticked here. And what that does is remove any of the lead magnet content from their account in PT Distinction. That keeps things nice and clean. So it's not like they've got too much information in there, they get lost or anything like that, or things overlapping. Just keeps it a very clean, simple process, removes it from there. The second thing it does is when people are added to groups, we can see them in those groups. So if you want to try and organize your clients and your leads, you could easily go into PT Distinction at any point, go to your lead magnet group, and it'll give you a list of all the people that are going through your lead magnet. So anyone that's still in that group, has yet to go and purchase something from you. That means if you wanted to, you could go into that group and you could send mass emails to them and market to them however you wanted to, whether they've currently on your lead magnet or signed to your lead magnet a while back. So it's a great way to make offers to them. So we want to make sure that by having this system here, not only do we remove the content, we remove them from that group and it keeps them organized, effectively turning your PT Distinction into kind of a CRM. Next thing we want to do down here is going to add in an abandoned cart group. So we want to remove this. So this abandoned cart group is going to make sense in a moment, but basically what's going to happen in a second is if someone tries to fill in that form that you saw earlier, gets through to the payment bit, because when you add a payment to it, they fill in the form and then the payment appears. So they fill the form in, we've got their email address, they don't make payment. We can actually automatically add them as an offline client into PTD Distinction and automatically add them to an abandoned cart group that has an email sequence in it that then brings them back to your sales page to go and try to sign up again. So it's a really cool tool in here. So what we're going to do is going to remove that because we don't want to keep following them up if they've already signed up. So we're going to hit next. At this point now, we're going to do is a one-off payment. So on here, I'm going to put this in as, let's just do 7.895. Why not? As a one-off payment in here. And I'm going to use Great British Pounds. Now, if you wanted to do another version of this where you're doing it in installments or whatever, you can technically do that doing a subscription payment. Just remember, if you're doing a subscription payment, to cancel it once the installments are done. Just bear that in mind. But let's just do a one-off here for the time being and hit next. Takes us to next bit here. We can choose if we want to have phone numbers in or not. Just toggle that on and off. Time zone again, gen like last time. But this time we're going to use incomplete signups. I'm going to toggle this on, hit the drop-down menu, and I'm going to choose abandoned cart. So this is that section where if somebody doesn't finish off their payment, it's going to automatically add them into this group as an offline client. So they won't count towards your quota, but they'll still receive emails. You can follow up with them. Down here, we're going to have this as a 12-week program. So I'm going to give them 13 weeks. We have a bit of leeway, just like so on there. And the messaging, I'm going to have this two-way because of coaching problem. And of course, we're going to switch off the login details because we already have the welcome email set up. So that's that one set up in here. Again, you have your link on here that you can use. Again, that link will take them to that form, or you can take this code here and then you can always go and embed it on one of your sales pages. So down here, for example, we have a sales page for our main flagship program. So inside here, if we wanted to, we could take this and then we can go and edit this page on here, and then we can actually just go and drop the code, the form onto it, and people can go and sign up and pay using that. So that's how you integrate that one. And you can see down here, we have our page summary at the bottom. So you can see remove groups, our group can be a one-off and our actual payment down the bottom. So again, that allows you to go and sign people up and so on. Now, if somebody signs up to this form, basically what happens is all these groups will get added, these groups get removed, everything will get organized in PTD, everything happens automatically. Then once they've signed up, you can make any tweaks and changes to that individual account. Now, talking about tweaks and changes as well, let's say if you wanted to change stuff in this package, you can do that. So at any point, you could come along to this package. And let's say, as I mentioned earlier, you're running cohorts. If you go on this package here and edit it, and let's say over here, we wanted our main program to start on a given date. So we're doing it as a cohort. So let's say it's going to be the 9th of April. I can just come in here, or say the 14th. I can come in here and adapt all these to suit. So we know that they're all going to fall on the right days, just like so. And let's do this one again. So on date. So it's going to be on the Saturday. There we go. And I can just go and hit save then. Now, this is the beauty about this setup. This code here, you may have noticed that Eagle Eye is one of his, is that it hasn't changed. It's all exactly the same. So you can come in here and you can edit anything inside this package. You don't have to reconnect anything to your website. And that's the same way you want to change the groups around like this, if you're running cohorts, for example, or maybe you want to change the pricing as well. So you can go on the sales, you can change the pricing to something else. All you have to do is obviously change it on your website so they know. But you don't have to change the code around or anything like that. Or maybe you just want to go and test it out. If you want to test it out, you can just switch this to no payment, hit save, and then you can go and fill that form in and you'll be able to sign up with no payment. Just make sure you switch it back after. And then when you switch it back, everything will be saved in there. So for example, if I go back to one-off payment now, you can see the same details are still there. Really is that simple to edit and adapt stuff. And you don't have to do any of this coding stuff repeatedly every time you make a change. It'll just be the same code for that particular package. And then finally, we're going to go and have our membership one on here, just like so. And click next. And then we can put in our membership groups. So for our membership groups, we're going to have a welcome back one. As I mentioned earlier, we're just going to be offering this to people that already exist. So I just want to welcome them back. We're going to give them a 12-month habit coaching program. So there we go. And I'm going to give them basically an option for them to select the different workouts they want to do based on this down here. So let's go and find selectable workouts. Perfect. Okay, next. So this time we need to do a bit more of our remove groups. So it depends on how people are going to get into this, how you're going to do your setup. We don't necessarily need to have removing the lead magnet now because that should already be removed. But if you want to put it in, you can do. It doesn't hurt by doing that. The next thing we want to do inside here is we want to go and look at removing other things that we don't want. So you'll notice when we just added those extra 2 bits in, we didn't add a welcome group, we didn't add a results tracking group because we've already got that. So we can leave all that stuff in place for them. If you did want to have this so that your package, people can come and choose between memberships or one-off programs, and you wanted the same results tracking so they can move from one to the other, you could still add that results tracking group in, as long as it's the same results tracking group, because in PT Distinction, you can't add a client to the same group twice at the same time. So if they was to sign up to your 12-week program and then come join your 12-month membership, say halfway through or whatever, and you had that result tracking group in there, it wouldn't matter. It look at it and go, oh, they're already part of this group, so let's just leave it. We're not going to change anything. Continue where they left off. So it's not the end of the world if you do put it in. But for this example, we don't necessarily need to. So when I remove groups, we're going to want to remove our coaching content from that group because we don't need that anymore. It's been replaced with new coaching content. We want to move any workout groups as well that we might have. If you have lots of workout groups, which is what we do when we're doing our done for you service to people, you'll want to put all those different workout groups into here so they all get removed. Just keeps it nice and tidy. Takes a little bit longer to set up, like maybe like 5 minutes. But by doing so, you're much more likely to, for example, here we've got another example workout group. It's going to actually make it a lot tidier and easier for your clients by doing that. So I'd highly recommend that you do that and have them all removed. So once you've gone through that, the other thing you might want to do is your abandoned cart sequence. You might have an abandoned cart sequence for each of these ones, one for your membership, one for your flagship program. That's what I'd recommend you do. And this time we're going to go into subscription, and then we're going to do this as a 197 every month. I can see the monthly period down here. If I want to include a free trial, we can do that, and I can do like a 1 month free trial or whatever I want to do in here. Then click next. Again, I can go through the details down here, and just like before, we're going to do incomplete signups, and we're going to choose the abandoned cart sequence that's relative to that program. And this time we're going to leave this one to leave active until further notice, but down here, we're going to choose our grace period. So this grace period is if a payment is missed, it's how long it's going to give them access for until another payment comes in. Or if another payment doesn't come in that period of time, you'll then kick them out of the group. It'll make them an offline client. Sorry, it wouldn't kick them out. It'll make them an offline client. So let's say we're going to give them 7 days. So they get a week to make sure the details are sorted. 2 messaging on, login details off. We don't need them. Click save. And now we have our package in here all set up just like before. We can take all this and we can use that link, or we can just embed this onto a sales page on our website. And again, down here, for an example one, we have our membership sales page just down here, all ready to go. So we can connect all these things up using these different pages, using these different premier packages, and have this nice little funnel system all set up. So just to give you an example of how this might work, I'm actually going to go in here and I'm going to switch all these to no payments. So let's go and do that. So I'm going to switch sales to no payment just so we can test it all out. I'm going to go and switch this to no payment so we can go and test it all out. So let's start off with our lead magnet. I'm just going to simply go on here, grab the sign up link. Obviously, we can have this on your web page. I'm just going to use a direct sign up link for this example. Obviously, your web page is a little bit different depending on what website builder you're using and so on. So let's go and set up a test client and then submit. So this is going to be our free package. You can see it's come through here, ask to download or join on the web. But what we're interested in is what's happening in PT Distinction. So now we're going to head back over here. I'm going to go back over to our clients. And you can see inside here we have our test client that's already been set up in here. So I'm just going to filter this down so we can date added. There we go. Click on this. Open up our test client. We can see up here if we go to the group section, we've got our lead magnet group added in. And if we go onto here, we can see on the schedule, there's our lead magnet stuff drip feeding out to them all automatically. And everything's been added in, all completely automatic. Didn't have to do anything for them. All the upsell email sequences and so on. And also what this means, if I go to the group section, as I kind of mentioned earlier, we can kind of use this as a CRM. I can just type in lead magnet on here. I can see I have one member inside here. So if I wanted to, I could actually go to this group at any point, know that anyone in there is not somebody that signed up to my program yet, because that group will automatically remove. And if I want to, in the communications area, I can send them an email en masse out to them and make them more offers for my programs and things like that. Just a great way of organizing your clients. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go and head back over to our packages, and we're going to assume this client has gone, this was amazing, I loved it all. I'm going to go and sign up to our flagship program. So I'm going to go and click on here. I'm going to go and copy that link, and we're going to go and open up that link in here. Obviously, I've turned the payment system off for this. So let's go and put that in. So it's always a good idea when you're doing this to just to mention, if you're already an existing member, please use your existing email address and password when signing up. Hit submit. And what I'm going to do now is go for the process. If the payment was going to be taken, it'd be taken at this point here. Obviously, we switched it off, so now it's going to get us to go and log in. So let's go back into PT Distinction. And let's go back into our client's account. And we can see inside here now, if I filter this down, there's our client in here. So I'm going to go and open this up. And now what we can see is if we come into here, we're going to go into the group section. You can see we have our welcome group results tracking group in. And because we ran this as a cohort, if you remember we edited it, you can see we have these groups here pending to start on the relevant given days for this program. And we can see we actually have all the content already pre-loaded up in their accounts. Now, the beauty about this as well, if we want to make tweaks and changes to this client program, we can do that now because it'll only affect that individual client. So I can go in here and say, actually, let's get them started early. Let's do something different. So I want to start them on the coaching program early. I can click on this, remove that group, click remove the content, and then I can actually go and add that back in again. So I can go, right, let's go with coaching content, add it in, start it in now, and they're going to be on that program. Likewise, I can do the same for the workouts. I can click on this, I can remove that, and maybe I want to put them on a 3-day workout instead. So let's just remove that group. And I'm going to go and add that one in. So let's go and do our workout groups. Let's do it on a 3-day beginner split. And I'm actually going to start that now straight away just for this example. So even though we've used the package, we can change and edit stuff very, very quickly for that individual client. If I give that a little refresh now, we shall see that all that's now been updated with the new workout programs, new coaching content is all in there, ready for them to go. As you can see, all drip feeding out for them. And we can see that in the group structure up at the top. So that's that all set up in there. But now they've gone through this and they've gone, I love this program. I really like this. I want to keep working with you as a coach. So what do we do next? Well, they're going to get offered their membership. So they're going to go into the membership program. Of course, this time around, they will get the free trial with it with this setup, but obviously we turned all the payments off. So I'm going to go copy that link and we're going to go over here. And then we're going to go fill this in again. At this point, Stripe would normally come up. We've switched it off for this example. We're going to head back in here. We're going to go look at our clients. We're going to see what's happened. So again, very quickly, if we go back in here now, filter this down to date added. There's our client in here. You can see it's now switched from green to amber because it's unscheduled workouts. If we look at the group section up here, you can see we still have the welcome group, results tracking group. We have the membership onboarding. We have the nutritional habits on here. Now we have the automated workouts and the week review still all set up in there. If we go to the schedule, you can see the schedule's all been updated with all the new stuff and it's got rid of all the old stuff. And then here you can see we have the workouts they can pick and choose from. And we have all the coaching items and habits in here for them all set up and ready to go, or drip feeding out over time, along with any forms and questionnaires for them, all the habit tracking, everything already pre-set up and ready to go. And of course, tracking in here for them. So there you go. That is how, in a more detailed way, about how you can really start selling your different services through PT Distinction. Hopefully this gives you a good idea of like the different things you can do with pre-made packages, do with groups and put them all together, more than just taking a package and putting it on your website and trying to sell it. It's really important when you do any kind of business, you really think about not just the tools you're using, but how you're actually going to apply those tools. And I'm hoping today's video is giving you a bit of an idea of how that can actually work and how you can actually apply this. Obviously, I've been for a lot of different stuff here. I've shown you some of the different groups and content and things. You might be thinking, okay, Ash, I completely get it, but that seems like a lot of work. I'm going to set these things up. If you need help and support with doing that, please do reach out. Some of you may know this already, but we actually do run a done for you service where we can go and set all these kind of things up for you. Like if you have no idea what content and process and systems to have, then we have something called the Gold service where everything you've seen here and a lot more we'll pre-build out for you, set it all up, do all your content, do all your branding, build all your sales pages, landing pages, connect everything together so it's all pre-set up and done. So you have a fully automated system like this, and then we'll give you a training pack and show you how to use it. And then also you'll have access to our academy and course so that you can actually learn how to go and sell these services as well and market them and actually make some revenue from it too. Or of course, if you want something a bit more custom, you have an idea that you want to go and set up inside PT Distinction, reach out, get in touch, because we do have a custom build service as well, where I can pretty much build out anything that you want us to go and build out in the software, whether that's having some fancy integrations, using Zapier, having some calculators built, integrating videos into documents, whatever it is, we can have a look at doing that for you. If you want to find out more about that, either reach out to me directly, just send me a DM, or head over to ptninja.com. I'll put the details around this video as well, so you can take a look, probably in the comments. Other than that, thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to speaking to you all soon. Bye-bye.